ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। महापुरुष जैसे चिंता की प्रणाली नचिकेता के अंदर में शिशु अवस्था में थे। इसीलिए उतना कम उम्र में भी जब देख रहे हैं कि पिताजी दक्षिणा के रूप में ब्राह्मण को ऐसे खराब चीज दे रहे हैं, उनका बहुत ही चिंता हुआ कि ऐसे दक्षिणा दान करने से पिता की कुछ खराब नहीं होगा, तो पिता की नुकसान तो नहीं होगा। नचिकेता पितृभक्त थे। ये भी हमारे शास्त्रीय परंपरा की एक विषय है, जहां पर हमें पिता, माता, अपने आचार्य और अतिथि, इसे भगवान मानता हूं। इसीलिए नचिकेता सोच रहे हैं कि इसकी प्रतिकार की उपाय क्या हो सकता है। तो उनको लगा कि एक पुत्र पिता की सबसे कीमती जायदाद है, संपत्ति है। इसीलिए पिता अगर दक्षिणा की रूप में उसे किसे किसी को दान करे, तो ये एक प्रायश्चित तो हो सकता है। इसीलिए नचिकेता आत्मसमर्पण करने के लिए संकल्प किया। सहोवाच पितरम, सहोवाच पितरम, तत कस्मै मां दास्यसीति, तत कस्मै मां दास्यसीति, द्वितीयं तृतीयं तं होवाच, द्वितीयं तृतीयं तं होवाच, मृत्यवे त्वा ददामीति, मृत्यवे त्वा ददामीति। सहोवाच पितरं तत कस्मै मां दास्यसीति, द्वितीयं तृतीयं तं होवाच, मृत्यवे त्वा ददामीति। स ह उवाच, he said, means Nachiketa said, Pitaram tata, unto sire or father, kasmai mam dasyasi iti, kasmai, to whom, mam, me, dasyasi, will will you give, मुझे किसको देंगे पिताजी, मुझे किसको देंगे, मुझे किसको देंगे पिताजी। द्वितीयम तृतीयम, फॉर द सेकेंड, फॉर द थर्ड टाइम, जब उन्होंने पिताजी को एक ही बात बोलने लगा, Tam Hovacha, Tam Ha Uvacha, to him said, and उनका पिता ने बताया, मृत्यवे, unto death, त्वाम, तुमको, you, ददामी iti, I give. He said, Father, to whom will you give me? And he said this again and again and again. For the third time, and when the enraged father said, unto death I do give you. So through the trellis of the chiseled words of the Upanishad, no reader can afford to look for and miss the vivid picture of the home of Gautama with his courtiered, crowded by the hundreds of priests assembled there to receive presents. The melancholy team of cows is being laid in, and the father is busy distributing them to the ritiks or priest. In the veranda of the house, there stands the child Nachiketa, visibly upset with his own confusions within. He is anxious that his father, who is performing the yajna with desire, Om Ushan Havai, Ushan means desire, should attain its fulfillment. But in his knowledge of the Shastras, he knew that the sacrifice, means the yajna called Vishwajit, would be fully potent only when the performer gives everything that he possesses. But somehow, due to some sense of attachment and delusory feeling of proprietorship, the old man has decided to make small compromise between injunctions of the Shastras and his own ego prompted impulses. In this inner conflict of Vajasravas, so clearly indicated by his external actions. Actually, Nachiketa reads a sure tragedy in store for the father in future. The young boy, overcome by his sense of duty towards his father, walks up to the old man who is busily engaged in the distribution of the cows and inquires from him, Father, to whom will you give me? The yagna's name was Vishwajit. So the performer is bound to give away in charity all that he owns as his own. Naturally, the son approaches the father, offering himself as a happy sacrifice. Certainly, no father has a right to give away his son without his consent, merely to gain for himself a greater realm of experience. After all, as an individual with independent life, the son has a right to demand his own privilege as the son of his father. Nachiketa, in thus offering himself to his father, is surrendering his individual rights at the altar of his greater duties towards his parent. Or maybe it was an intelligent hint suggesting a volume of criticism at the father's suicidal miserliness exhibited so shamelessly at a moment of challenge in his life. The old Brahmana, though intellectually a great master of the scriptures, is in no sense of the term a saint or a sage who has transcended the misty realm of self confusing thoughts and self debasing temptations. Were he a saint, he would not have stooped to conduct this very yajna by desire. There is in him evidently a terrible sense of attachment even to his wealth. Naturally, Nachiketa fears that his father may not sacrifice his only son under the cloak of assumed righteousness and the high sounding ideology in that no father has the right over his son's life to sacrifice it for fulfilling his own personal ambitions. You need not consider this as a very far fetched interpretation. Human mind is capable of even greater self deceptions. When a challenge comes in life, we yield to the temptation, knowing fully well that we have fallen from the heights of perfections which we have chosen to follow. And in all such cases, our mind is a faithful ally to sabotage us from within and always provides us with irrefutable gobble like monstrous falsehoods to justify our own lapses. To the old man, the young boy's insistence was unbearable. At first, the father ignored the repetition. Probably the old man might have scolded the boy and ordered him shut up. But on repeating for the third time, when it was really very annoying, in sheer despair, the disgust At the nuisance, the father in a harmless curse burst out, "Unto death I do give you." Certainly, we shall not understand the words to have any real significance in the mouth of the Father. It was only an outburst of his annoyance at the priggish son, a Brahmana who cannot give in Dakshina anything more useful than useless. Old and barren cows cannot be expected to have the large heart and the true spirit of charity to offer his only son as an oblation to Lord Death. नचिकेता सोचने लगा, बहुनामेमि प्रथमः, बहुनामेमि मध्यमः, किं स्विद् यमस्य कर्तव्यम् यन्मयाद्य करिष्यति. Bahunamemi Prathamaha. Amongst many disciples or students, my position is like I'm in the first class students. Bahunam, amongst many, Madhyamaha. I perform sometimes a mediocre, लेकिन मैंने कभी भी नीच व्यवहार नहीं किया. तो पिताजी मुझे क्यों ऐसे बोला आज? यमस्य, यमराज की, किम स्वित कर्तव्य, ऐसा क्या काम रह सकता है? यत अद्य, जो आज, माया मेरे द्वारा करिष्यति, मेरा पिताजी पूर्ण करेंगे. ऐसा क्या हो सकता है? ऐसा क्या काम हो सकता है? Nachiketa thought, among many, I go the first. Of many, I go midmost, meaning I was never a third rate. What is there for Yamaraj, the Lord of the Death, to do which he now can do by or from me? Means Nachiketa was given to Yamaraj. So, what's the impact? Shishya, student, and पुत्र तीन श्रेणी की होते हैं. उत्तम शिष्य, मध्यम शिष्य, अधम शिष्य. जो शिष्य और जो स्टूडेंट और पुत्र अपने गुरु और पिताजी की मन की बात समझकर उनके आदेश की अपेक्षा नहीं करते, बल्कि उनके मन में जो आ रहा है ऐसे काम करने में तत्पर होता है, उसे प्रथम श्रेणी का सेवक कहा जाता है। आदेश पाने से पहले ही गुरु के मन में क्या है ये समझ लिया, उसे प्रथम श्रेणी का सेवक बोला जाता है। जो स्टूडेंट और पुत्र पिता या गुरु के आदेश पाने के बाद आदेश पालन करते हैं, उसे मध्यम श्रेणी और द्वितीय श्रेणी का सेवक बोलते हैं। और जिन लोग जानते हैं कि गुरु के मन में क्या है, पिता के मन में क्या है, ये इसका आदेश पाने के बाद भी काम नहीं करते, वो लोग तृतीय श्रेणी या अधम श्रेणी की पुत्र है या शिष्य है या स्टूडेंट है। लेकिन मैं तो, मेरा पिताजी की इतने सारे शिष्य है, मैं प्रथम श्रेणी जैसे आचरण करता हूं, क्योंकि उनके आदेश देने से पहले ही उनके मन में क्या है ये समझकर मैं काम कर देता। बहुत सारे शिष्य के अंदर मैं मध्यम श्रेणी का भी हूं, क्योंकि ऐसे बहुत बार हुआ, मैं समझ नहीं पाया, लेकिन जब भी उनका आदेश आया मैं उसी वक्त उसका पालन किया, कुछ भी तर्क नहीं किया। ऐसा तो कभी नहीं हुआ कि उन्होंने कुछ बोला और मैं नहीं किया। मैं तो अधम श्रेणी जैसे आचरण नहीं किया, ऐसे कभी नहीं हुआ। तो आज पिताजी मुझे क्यों ऐसे बताया? शायद यमराज की कोई जरूरत है मुझे। लेकिन यमराज की क्या प्रयोजन हो सकता है, और जिसके लिए पिताजी हमें उनके पास भेज रहे हैं? पिता शायद गुस्से में ये बात बताया, लेकिन गुस्सा हो या जो भी हो, पिता जब आदेश कर दिया वो सुनना ही पड़ेगा। पिता या गुरु, क्या होता है कभी कभी उनका आदेश सुनकर लगता है मैं कैसे करूं, हम लोग करने से पहले ही विचार चालू कर देता। जो व्यक्ति, चाहे वो आप हो या कोई, करने से पहले बहुत सारे सवाल उठाते हैं, वो लोग करने वाला में से नहीं है। जो करना चालू कर देते हैं, करते करते ही उनका मन का सवाल डिसॉल्व हो जाता है, और नहीं तो करने के बाद सवाल उठाते हैं। ये मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है, आप भी देखेंगे। जो व्यक्ति करने के लिए इच्छुक है और जिनके पास अपनी गुरु, अपने पिता माता भगवान की समान है ना, वो लोग सवाल नहीं उठाते, सुनते ही कर देते। तो जो कुछ होगा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मेरा नहीं, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो मुझे आदेश दिया है, मेरा कर्तव्य सिर्फ पालन में ही है। ऐसे ही नचिकेता सोचने लगा कि पिता की एक मर्यादा है और उसे रक्षा करना मेरा कर्तव्य है। और कभी कभी लग रहा है कि पिताजी सच में एंजाइटी, डिप्रेशन, मन की थोड़ा ताप, मनस्ताप जिसे बोलते हैं, भुगत रहे, तो उनको कंसोल करना भी मेरा कर्तव्य है। तो शायद पिताजी ने बोला कि बेटा मत जाओ, मैंने गुस्सा से बोल दिया। So this Nachiketa was born and bred upon the sacred milk of the Vedic culture. And the father has thus exiled him from this plane of consciousness into the realms of death. Nachiketa retires from the presence of his preoccupied father to ponder over and digest the circumstances. This is a true sign of a matured one. No grown up intellect will allow itself to be clouded and confused at the mere approach of challenging circumstances. It will neither allow emotion to play its wild pranks and act in a maddening, impulsive way, nor it will such an intellect allow, nor such an intellect will allow itself to be cowed down by the threatening aspect of this challenge and run away from its field of activity into a cowardly retreat of inertia and dumbfoundedness. Here, Nachiketa is unexpectedly bombed by a most surprising development around and about him in the external world of his relationships. And like a true matured intellect, he quietly retires to ponder over, to analyze, to discriminate, and to judge. In that quietude, he gains balance by a reference to his knowledge of the ever truthful Shastras and the sacred words of the learned masters. It is an injunction of Shastra and an Aryan code of morality that the duty of a disciple or a son is to be ever implicitly in the seva of his teacher or his father. With reference to the execution of duty to a guru, the disciples are classified under three heads: the best, the so and so, and the bad. The best ones are those who, knowing the wish of the Guru, always serve him. The so so are those who are infallibly obedient and execute any order from the Guru when expressly commanded, and the bad ones are those uh, despicable wretches who fail to execute even when commanded by the Guru. Here in our story, Gautama was to Nachiketa both father and guru in one. Hence, these words from the son disciple Nachiketa with reference to the above injunction of Shastra, we shall now easily understand what exactly was in the mind of Nachiketa when he thought, as in the stanza now under discussion, he meant to say that he was ever diligent to act up to the expectations of his guru and parent. That in some cases, now and then, he had slipped down to the so so category when he could not understand the wish of his guru for the moment and could not, therefore, execute it before the guru's expressed command. In short, Nachiketa confesses that he has never been consciously or unconsciously of the last type, and that he never hopes now to become one by disobeying a command expressed by his father and guru. Now, the boy knew that his father never meant what he said. But no compromise is sanctioned or allowed in Sanatana Dharma. Moral and ethical codes of living are to be followed, if at all, in toto, and as such to add our own conditions and interpretations to it is to prostitute dharma openly and serve our sensuous nature. Rank adharma is far better than compromised dharma practiced with insincerity. The tomb of Mother India has been opened up with the spades of such distorted practices of the eternal dharmas by the Hindu. We had, as a nation, the brutal animal courage to be outright adharmis. We would have been today probably far better, at least in our material life. Neither we have the spiritual heroism to walk the path of dharma, nor we have the fleshy daring to be adharmis. So, compromising ourselves in our womanly cowardice, we have been playing the calamitous game of living two contradictory ideas, dharma like adharmas and adharma like dharmas. Nachiketa knew this and he dared not compromise. Dharma is too sacred for him. It is a blasphemy to attempt to reconcile to our convenience the eternal values of truth with the passing values of false temptation. And hence, Nachiketa wondered, what is the great work that will be accomplished by Yama through me, who am thus sent forth by my father? Herein there is a sacred tip for all true aspirants who are seeking their goal of life. Nachiketa certainly knew that his father never meant what he said. But his father was also his guru, and guru's word are never futile. Many are the stories in our treasure house of Puranas which indicate how even a passing word of a great master has come true in the end. There is nothing strange in it. It ought to be so. When a radio is tuned up to Delhi Center, and if that radio sings, it cannot but the song sung in the Delhi broadcasting room. A radio is incapable of making its own noises. Similarly, a God man who in his realized self perfection has totally tuned himself to that will not and cannot express himself in futile words. All his thoughts are the thoughts of the total mind. His words are always the immutable words of the divine will. This ought to be the intelligent understanding of every disciple if he is to profit himself by the grace of a guru in the spiritual field. Nachiketa, true to this eternal principle, acts upon the words of his guru, though they were but unmeant words spoken in the heat of the moment by a father to a son. And yet, ultimately, the great student comes to the greatest of wealth and achievement at the feet of Lord Death. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Guru Pyo Namah. Harihi